Alright, I'm back to do part 2 of my score soundtrack. I'm doing this a little bit different. I'm on the other end of the nerd cave. Yesterday I did a lot of the sci-fi ones, and it was on one side, and I'm on the other side doing a few more. Hopefully do this a little bit different. I've got the selfie stick out. Hopefully I can hold on to this, keep it a little steady, and which is I'm already doing a horrible job, but here we go. The first thing I'm going to go over is my Disney scores. I used to keep Disney movies on the shelf, but I did it on DVD, but I kind of got them all pretty well, most on Blu-ray, so I don't keep many DVDs around anymore. So go up here. We're going to start up here with some on the top. This is a series of 5. It's classic Disney, just a good compilation. We took these with us whenever we went to Disney World last year. Let's see, this was done in, I thought I could see, but I don't know exactly when it was done. I know they've done another one since then. My wife has 3 of those. And then my first Disney collections I bought from the early 90s. I think the most recent thing on here was anything from The Little Mermaid, was this little Disney collection. There was 3 of those. Before I was able to get a lot of the soundtracks, I got those. But just to go in order, I've got Fantasia and Fantasia 2000 in the beginning. But that's all for the up until The Little Mermaid. Well, actually, Oliver and Company. I did get the re-release of that. The rest songs, most of them that I want, is on these collections or my wife's collections. But I do have Oliver and Company, The Little Mermaid, The Rescuers Down Under, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, The Lion King, Pocahontas, The Hunchback of Notre Dame, Hercules, Mulan, Tarzan, Dinosaur, The Emperor's New Groove, Atlantis, Lilo and Stitch, Treasure Planet, Brother Bear, Home on the Range, Chicken Little, Meet the Robinsons, Bolt, Princess and the Frog, Tangled. Now, Winnie the Pooh should be right there, but I keep all my Winnie the Pooh stuff separate. Then Wreck-It Ralph. I've already put Ralph Breaks the Internet. I like to keep sequels together, so Ralph Breaks the Internet goes right behind Wreck-It Ralph. Frozen, Big Hero 6, Zootopia, Moana. And then some of the more classic stuff, Mary Poppins, but I did put Mary Poppins Returns right there. Bedknobs and Broomsticks, Pete's Dragon. Then The Enchanted, and then some of the newer ones, Alice in Wonderland, the remakes, Alice Through the Looking Glass, Beauty and the Beast, Cinderella, The Jungle Book, Maleficent, Oz the Great and Powerful, Pete's Dragon, the remake, and then the Pixar through right here. We've got, and I keep them in alphabetical order instead of by the year they release because they have more sequels than normal Disney movies. But we do have Brave, A Bug's Life, Cars, Cars 2, Cars 3, the score. And they did a little soundtrack with the songs for Cars 3, but I keep it up there because the score was more important. Coco, Finding Nemo, Finding Dory, The Good Dinosaur, The Incredibles, Incredibles 2, Inside Out, Monsters Inc., Monsters University, Ratatouille, Toy Story, Toy Story 2, Toy Story 3, Up, and then WALL-E. And then I have some of these legacy collections. I've only got a couple. I need to get more. Really nice booklets. This is Fantasia. It's a 4-disc set. And then I have Pocahontas. And then I told you I keep Winnie the Pooh separate. And it's kind of gone down on my Doctor Who books because that's what the rest of this shelf is at the bottom. But there's many songs of Winnie the Pooh, a little collection, Pooh's Grand Adventure, the Winnie the Pooh, Christopher Robin, and then Tigger movie, Piglet's Big Movie. And it's called The Best of Who and Heffalumps. That was released when Pooh's Heffalump movie came out. So they're kind of the minor ones, but I have them. And then going back up here, they're not really kind of any kind of order. I just put some of the other Disney stuff. A Wrinkle in Time. I know a lot of people didn't like that movie. I enjoyed it quite a bit. So this was the Return to Oz 2-disc soundtrack. This has been out of print. I found it at my local McKay's for a great price. I could not pass that up. Frankenweenie, the Broadway for Lion King and Beauty and the Beast, which I saw them not in New York, but at TPAC, the Tennessee Performing Arts Center. James and the Giant Peach, the BFG, Mighty Joe Young. One of my prize collections in my soundtrack is actually the Tomorrowland soundtrack. Pre-ordered it. It was Michael Giacchino, Brad Bird directing. I'm so glad I did, because little did I know that the physical copy was going to go out of print quickly, and it is very expensive to get right now. So I'm glad I have it. I have the Newsies soundtrack. I wanted to see the Newsies Broadway production, but I never got to. One of my least favorite movies of the year, but good soundtrack, Nutcracker and the Four Realms. The movie was not that impressive. The Cars 3, and then that Olaf's Big Adventure, Frozen Adventure, sorry. I think I'm thinking of Pee-wee's Big Adventure. And then Nightmare Before Christmas, and then Corpse Bride, which is not Disney, but I keep it with the Nightmare Before Christmas for the Tim Burton. And Frankenweenie should be over there. But like I say, those are up there. I don't really have them in any kind of order. And then I'm going to skip over my Doctor Who books right there. Then it goes to my big Doctor Who shelf here. All the DVDs, Blu-rays down here. But at the top here, besides the audiobook version of Shada, all these right here are the missing episodes, the original soundtracks to, with the audio. So, and they usually have, well, all of them has one of the actors, like the Space Pirates has Fraser Hines, who played Jamie McCrimmon, and he's narrating what's between the dialogue. So I love that I have all of them. A few years ago, I used to be driving an hour to work, and these things were awesome to listen to in the car while I was driving to work. And then for the 50th, they did this Destiny of the Doctor set. I'm hoping that can be seen. One for every Doctor. Big Finish did a 50th anniversary special called The Light at the End with some of the Doctors who's still around. I've got a few Big Finish, but this is supposed to be about soundtracks. And so starting here, first of all, this is the 50th anniversary soundtrack collection, 4-disc set. There was a 2-disc version as well. I got the 4-disc version, obviously, which had all the Doctors at the time, music from their stuff, and then after that is all my soundtracks, starting with season 1 and 2. Well, actually the movie, then season 1 and 2, season 3, even though they'll say it, 4, the specials, 5, A Christmas Carol, 6, 7, The Snowman, The Doctor, the Widow, and the Wardrobe, The Day of the Doctor and the Time of the Doctor, series 8, series 9. 10 has not been announced yet, but 11 has. It's coming out next month, so I think that's kind of funny. And then on top of that was Torchwood, and then Torchwood Children of Earth. There was not a soundtrack that I know of for Miracle Day, not an official one, because I definitely would have had that, even though it wasn't the best. And I got next to me, I keep these underneath the bed, my little day bed. It's kind of a mess right now. But these are the ones I used to keep in the collection from yesterday, but I told you I ran out of room, so these I just keep together. Some of these probably are definitely sci-fi, could be in the sci-fi. Just for my mind, I just put them over here. Let me see if I can get a good shot of them. Right there. Hopefully I got that good. Some of them have special meaning, and I'm going to talk about a little bit, but I'm going to go through. It's the original The Abyss, original soundtrack. I think they did a special edition. The Adventures of Tintin, AI, Amistad. More recent, Bad Times at the El Real. That was a great movie. Don't know why it did not do well in theaters. A Beautiful Mind, great soundtrack. Black Hawk Down, Big Fish, all of the Bourne movies. Even the last one, which wasn't very good. The 2 different soundtracks for Braveheart. This one, I talked about Dave. I bought this because he's a big fan, and I've never seen this movie, but I know I need to see this movie. And it's a Casablanca soundtrack. He did a podcast where he went over Casablanca, and it was funny. Like that same night, I'd gone to McKay's, or that week, and they had the soundtrack for a good price, so I bought it. Catch Me If You Can, The Cider House Rules, Cinderella Man, very underrated movie. The score for Dark Shadows. This is a special one. My friend Mark from Ireland sent this to me. It's the Dances with Wolves soundtrack. And since then, they've had some re-releases of it from America and everything. But at the time, I wanted this because I had the pop version of the John Dunbar theme. And I really like it because it's got a cutout. And the disc is gold on the back instead of silver. Let's see if you can at that. See, it's gold. I see my reflection. So that one means a lot. I haven't got one of the other ones yet. I need to, because I know that's available. But this one just means a lot. And I realize I said Dark Shadows before that. I've got the Da Vinci Code, Angels and Demons, and Inferno together. I put them all under after Da Vinci Code. One of my other favorites of all time, my favorite movie of all time is Dr. Zhivago. Love the score. I have it on record, and I thought for the longest that record would mean something, but everywhere you go, they've got it for like 50 cents. So, recent underrated score in movie is Eddie the Eagle. This score feels like it was composed in the 80s. Loved it. It just had that feel good about it. I just had to get the score, and I was listening to it a lot after it came out. Then Edward Scissorhands, Ed Wood, the Ghostbusters remake. The score was pretty good. The two soundtracks for Gladiator, Hook, Jack Reacher. They did not do a soundtrack for Jack Reacher 2 physically, so I don't have it. Jack the Giant Slayer, Kingdom of Heaven. Just love that score. I wish there was an extended version of that. The original King Kong. Horrible movie, great soundtrack, which I talk about a lot, is The Last Airbender. That the movie was not live up to the animated series, but the soundtrack was so good. Last of Mohicans, Legend of Bagger Vance. I still got a sticker on it because when this came out, I didn't buy it immediately, and when I went to buy it, it was out of print. And it wasn't too long after I got married to Christy, this store opened up in Nashville called McKay's. I talk about it a lot. And they had this. It was $5.95. So well worth it because it's another one that went out of print. King Arthur, Legend of the Sword. And I'm going to highlight, I'm not the biggest Hans Zimmer fan. He's fine. I'm not, putting him down or anything. But I loved his score for The Lone Ranger. I did. I thought it was a great score. The movie was, I think, underrated. I don't think it's a horrible movie. It's too long. Johnny Depp wasn't the best in it. But as just for a fun popcorn movie, I like it. And I love the score a lot. Then I've got Mars Attacks, Master and Commander. The first two Maze Runner movies, because I had the third one pre-ordered, but it never did come out physically. Amazon canceled the order. I guess they decided just to release it digitally. Minority Report, Munich, The Never Ending Story. Gotta have it. And one of my other favorites from when I was a kid, The Princess Bride. Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. Well, that should be Prince of Thieves. Then the Robin Hood Ridley Scott version. And then the most recent Robin Hood. Not a good movie. Probably my least favorite movie I saw all last year. But the score was pretty good. Saving Private Ryan, Schindler's List. I've got The Scorpion King in here. A Series of Unfortunate Events. Shawshank Redemption. Gotta have Shawshank. Sky Captain, Sleepy Hollow. The Terminal. Very underrated John Williams, Steven Spielberg score. The Three Musketeers from the 90s. And we'll talk about this. Titanic and Back to Titanic. I know it's hip to hate on Titanic right now. I don't care. I love Titanic. I bought when they re-released it in theaters, the anniversary edition. I've got that score. And I know La La Land did another one with some extra music. I still haven't got it. I need to get it. Troy. True Lies is one of them. It's got 5 songs on it, but the majority of it is the score. So I've got it. The Veronica Mars movie score. Thank you, Warner Brothers, even though it's manufactured on demand. Just thank you for releasing this score because just to have more Veronica Mars music is wonderful. War Horse, War of the Worlds. As you can see, I've got a lot of Spielberg. We Were Soldiers. Wonderful score. The soundtrack was the song soundtrack was good too. And I have the Wild Wild West score. Guilty Pleasure. Love the score. And then I also have, and I guess this could have been with the sci-fi fantasy stuff, the first 2 Once Upon a Time soundtracks. I really like the music in that show. I need to get back to watching it. I got through half of season 2, and then for some reason I never got back into it, but I did really like it. And I also keep in here my Dr. Zhivago CD soundtrack sampler. And the reason why is it came with the Blu-ray, which of course I already had it, but that was really cool that it came. Now, one thing I don't have out, and I've got in my closet, which is just right there, that closet, there is probably one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight boxes of CDs. And I know I have CDs of like other family oriented movies, like the DreamWorks movies. I have a lot of them. I have like the Shreks, Prince of Egypt. I have all three of those soundtracks, even though two of them were just more inspired by Wizard of Oz, stuff like that. Not Mary Poppins, The Sound of Music. Just a lot like that I have, but they're in storage. I'm very limited on space, so I have to keep out certain things. And these are to me the most important. It's like my Disney soundtracks. I'm a huge Disney person. My Doctor Who's back here. I do hope they announce season 10. It'd be weird to have seasons 1 through 9, then 11, which I did like the soundtrack for the music for season 11. And as long as companies keep releasing physical CDs, I'm going to be a physical collector. I don't do a lot of digital soundtracks. I'd rather have the physical. I'd rather put it in my car, listen to it, put it in at work, listen to it. I don't like to keep the music, a lot of music on my, like this on my phone. I like to have it together, unless it's the Star Trek scores. I do keep all three of the new Michael Giacchino scores on my phone, the extended versions. But that's it. That's the majority. I would say that's probably 90%, 95% of my score soundtrack collection. Like I say, I have a lot in the closet. I could have gone through and picked them out, but that would have just taken a while. Just know that it's that, all of that. And yesterday I forgot to thank someone, one of my film score people, and that's Darren on Twitter. I have a lot of good conversations with him. He put a picture of his score collection one day, and my mouth hit the floor. I was just in awe. It was just wonderful. He's got soundtracks I wish that I had, but I don't. And as soon as I got through recording, I realized I didn't thank Darren, so I needed to thank Darren. And that's it. That is my score collection.